Hello, Matthew, here at the new wood turning. So the project that we're going to be doing today is I made this salad bowl for myself. So that when I cook and I have a big bowl, I have bunches of bowl that I use at home, but I'm looking for a big bowl. So I rough turned this, and there was plenty of holes in it. So I filled it, as you can see, with epoxy. So now I have to return it and hopefully get something nice out of it. So this is going to go on a jam chuck. So I just reposition that. So jam chuck means block of wood goes into the chuck. Boop. I'm going to have some cloth just to make it not wood on wood. And then that's going to go onto there. Tailstock's going to come up. So let's get that all set up. All right, so now tailstock's here. One thing I'm realizing is that I made a punch for center on the tenon, but the punch has now been filled with epoxy. So I can't really see it. So it's gonna just turn not true, which sucks because this is a dry piece of wood, right? It just had a bunch of holes in it. So it didn't distort. So I would be able to get exactly this shape, just minus the epoxy. But no, I had to fill the center hole with epoxy as an idiot. But that is okay because I left enough of the tenon here so that I can I have a significant room to make a new tenon, and I think this is about 1.5 inches-ish. Let's just, how thick is this? It's like 1.25 inches thick. And I'm going to bring that down to about 5, maybe 10 mil. So I have enough room. So it's going to go on like that. And just tighten it. When you do with jam chucks, you always want to lower the revs. You don't want to go too high in revs. I'm going to change the rest out. Get a bigger rest so that I can wrap around. Tighten everything up, and we're good to go. For this, I'm going to use my 5/8 bowl gouge. Turn that on. All right. So, as you see, we're having epoxy shavings. I need to get a tenon on there. So that's the most important part. I know a lot of wood turners make tenons so exact to the dimensions of their chuck. I don't do that. Maybe that's because I'm a beginner and I'm stupid, but I don't do that. I think it's too much. It's too much of a pain. So now we're gonna get this true. Because of my mistake, the problem is. Because of my mistake, I will have a smaller bowl than I anticipated. Maybe not that. Yeah, exactly. So here we can see I'm flush, right? But here, I still have all that epoxy to take off. And as you can see, it's not very super clean cuts. But I'm going to go in with a scraper and it's going to make everything okay. That's what I keep telling myself. So. By the way, way, this is a piece of ash. This is a piece of, oh, you see? That's what I'm looking for. Instead of throwing it away because I had a huge crack in it, why not do that? It makes it look so nice. So now I just have to clean up the bottom here. See that? Yeah, so there's just that left, but that's going to come off on the scraper. So I'm just going to come do this top side. Revs a little bit. This might shake. It's a little bit too fast. Slow that down. That knocking is because of the fact that it's not perfectly trued up, but you can see that the pieces, there's little spots of epoxy. I think it's worth it, makes it look nice, and it makes it less likely to explode. So I think that's a win-win. Just go slow. That should be true. It's basically true. I just have to true up this little bead that I made. See, it's going a little bit less. That's because it's all trued up. So now I'm just going to do this side. See that? Yep, that's okay. That's perfect. So now all I need to do is pass with a scraper. Actually, there's a little bit of epoxy still there, so we'll get that taken care of. Also, my gouge is not getting as sharp, so instead of wasting your time and going to get a new one, I'm just going to that's good. Now I'll use the 1/2 inch. Oh, that's not the 1/2 inch. Here's the 1/2 inch to go and clean up that, because that's going to be a problem later. So just get the rest in close enough. one thing that I hate about the tailstock, and this is one of the reasons why I always use screw chucks or any way or form try to hold the chuck, is because it gets in the way and it's just a pain. So now I'm just gonna use my giant homemade shear scraper. All the scrapers and all my scrapers and SKUs are all homemade. You can make them for super cheap with stuff you buy online. The gouges is a little bit more complicated to machine yourself. So always remember, raise the rest, and the angle between the scraper and the wood has to be less than 90, or else you'll have a catch. You also do a shear straight. The shear scraper is a good way to blend curves together. It's just a good way of blending curves. So you see that's like one curve. There's this torn out grain here, but we'll sand that out. But now we have to blend that together. So once that's blended, we'll sand. So I'm looking at the top of the bowl. Okay. Just squeezing in the scraper. There's still a lump here. Still feels like not super. It's smoothed out, but I'm not. Well, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Vibration. We don't want vibration. That's smooth. The rest I'm going to get with the gouge. So now I can sand this. I'm realizing that some of my epoxy has not stayed in the cracks. So I'm realizing that I only filled these holes. So I'm a tad disappointed, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So for the sanding, I'm going to use my little drill thingy because it gets rid of torn out grain super, super duper well. Tie that up. We'll get a fresh batch of sanding paper. For this, I will put on my respirator because I don't want that fine dust in my lungs. So just get that on. Alright, so that's coming off the jam chuck. And that's going to go into the actual chuck. So take that off. Take my massive tenon protector thing. Where is the hex screw? Just had it. Oh, there it is. Put that in. Go. We're going to do the inside. Just open that. So hopefully my gouge doesn't get in the way of the camera. At least that's what I'm hoping. So first things first, turn that on. about there, it gets really hard and it starts bouncing. And I think it's because of that knot. I'm pretty sure, because I had the same problem when I was originally roughing the thing out. I'm trying to follow that outside curve so that I have my undercut rim, so that the rim is enclosed, right? So that's the goal. So at the moment it's not too bad, but that's a little bit flaring out, so that needs to go in. So maybe lean over the camera. So that needs to go in. And a good way of knowing you have an enclosed shape is when the shavings get stuck inside. So if you have shavings getting stuck inside your bowl, congratulations, you have successfully pulled off an enclosed rim. So that can be a little bit thinner. Now, there are multiple ways of hollowing out a bowl. Some people start from the center out, and other people start from the rim in. I tend to do a hybrid of both. So if I'm doing a standard, this one I roughed out, and I have to start from the rim, right? Because the inside is already gone. But even when I do a bowl start to finish, I'll still hollow out the inside and then just go by sections of wall. So I'll go from here to there and just do that. And then go from there to there. And then blend both of them. I feel like it gets you... I feel like it's a little bit faster. And that's how I prefer to do them. So I'm going to do one more pass from there to there. And then we're going to get the bottom done. That's pretty good. Roughed out this bowl, that's where I was having problems. That's a good thickness. This is a little bit thick, but I don't mind that. I think it gives it a certain pizzazz. Use this one. I think it's lower just by a lot. One thing you have to keep in mind is when you're working on dry wood, which this is a piece of dry ash, your gouges will get dull quickly. So I have multiple gouges that I like to use, so I don't have to constantly go to the grinder. So this is what we call a bottom feeder. It has a very steep bevel. That allows me not to be like this. It allows me to stay here. Alright? So that's good. But if I have a pencil, I'll actually get a pencil. Actually not a bad idea. There's a high spot right there. So that's where I need to start my cuts. Grab the calipers. So I'm still fairly thick here. So I can still go down quite some more. I could actually still go down a little bit on the top, but I don't want that thin of a bowl. That I'm hanging off too far across the edge. So again, still about there. It's not, it's too thick. So I'm actually going to go sharpen this. So you see, I'm finished sharpening. Sharpening doesn't need to take long, but you have to do it, because if you don't, it will seriously impact the quality of your work. That was cutting compared to before. All that, 10 seconds on the grinder. So sharpening your gouges is just such an important part of wood turning that people really I know some people who don't take it as seriously, and that's a problem. Is happening at this point is that the flexing of the walls is bouncing on the gouge, or that the heel of the gouge is actually hitting. So I'm going to go with the 1/2 inch. I'm just going to go in like that and get one nice pass. How thick that is. It's sounding a little bit hollow, but no, it's still quite thick. It's still quite thick. I still have an ample amount of room to go and modify the shape. So I think that I'm not going deep enough here, so I'm gonna that's looking pretty decent. Now, all I need to do is blend these curves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gouge and I'm going to go from there all the way to the center. Alright, so that's good. I have that smooth, I have a small ridge here, and I have that to smooth out. So that I'm going to actually do with the shear scraper. But to do that, I need to make sure that I don't overhang from the rest too much. Because if I overhang from the rest too much, I could have a catch, and the gouge could dig in, the scraper could dig in a little bit too much. So that's about the right height. See, it's kind of digging in. That's because I'm too far away. But I don't have a curved rest, so I can't really do anything about that. So that's kind of, because here, the leverage that the gouge has when pulling into the wood is a bit greater than the leverage that I have. So how we're going to have to do this is by taking very, very light passes with the bowl gouge. Something. I'm still pretty good, but I want a nice decent curve. So I think that I'm going to go with this. That's not bad. It's actually quite okay. Now I'm just missing here. That's something I have issues with, and I don't know if it's because the bowl is flexing or I'm not entering the wood correctly. Sometimes I wonder. That's not horrible. And it's a decent thickness, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now all I need to do is sand. So I think that, and actually I can deal with this rim that isn't perfectly in line. So now I'm going to do some sanding. I'm going to spare you all that process by speeding up the video. So here you have it, folks. I cut off a bit of the sanding time to just save you guys me sanding. So nice bowl. It has a few tear outs in it because I don't know why. I think the grain is just my theory is that you have the end grain, which is about here, and right next to the end grain you have this big knot, and that just causes the grain to distort a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right there. So it makes some nice patterns, but it makes it very hard to get a clean cut. So I wouldn't sell this, but I will definitely be using it in my house. So I've been looking forward to have a bowl this size to use on a day-to-day basis. So very happy with it. So that's pretty much it for today. Hope you have a great, you had a fun time. Happy turning, and see you next time.